Hello everyone, it's Shannon here. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, we are going to take a closer look at some of the brand new paper pads from Waffle Flower Crafts, and we're also going to make this really fun Rainbow Hearts card as well. These are the JJ Rainbow paper pads. This one here is the sampler pack, which means you get 12 sheets, and each one of these is a different design, so 12 different designs. But what I think is so brilliant is that these papers coordinate with Waffle Flower's hearts, big dots, and fresh rainbow panel dies. So I think that's just so cool to have pattern paper that coordinates with a die, a full panel die even. So it makes for some really fast and simple card making and beautiful. Look at how beautiful these sheets are. Now I'm going to show you the larger pack here. This one comes with 36, the same 12 designs, but you get 3 of each. And if you like rainbows, just go ahead and get this larger one. I'm sure you're going to use them all. But what I must point out, what I think is so cool about these new paper pads is that they are all 80-pound weight cardstock. So it's so wonderful to have that heavier weight cardstock. And then they are 5.5 by 8.5. I think that's so cool to have that dimension because you can just cut a sheet in half and then you'll have 2 A2 panels. So these pads are perfect for us A2 card makers. For today's card, I'm going to use this horizontal striped sheet here. I'm just going to pull it out of my paper pad and I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half so I have 2 A2 panels. I'm now going to grab the hearts panel die, and I went ahead and die cut it out of an A2 panel of 110-pound white cardstock, and I'm now going to place this hearts panel on top so you can see how the panel works with the patterned paper. And you can see if I place it directly on top of the panel, I get these beautiful kind of half-toned or striped hearts, which I think is really beautiful and cool. But if I just slide the panel up a little bit, then I get these solid hearts and in rainbow colors. So I think that's really cool too. And I'm going to make my card like that today just to show you kind of how you can play around with this pattern paper and the corresponding dies. So I just want to throw a different idea out there. And I'm going to stretch it even further and I'm going to create a frame. So I have the A2 layers die, and I just grabbed the second largest die in the set, centered it here on the panel, and then I'm going to die cut it, and it's going to just create this very thin frame that's got these beautiful rainbow stripes. I'm going to put that aside, and now I'm going to grab our hearts panel, place it on top the way that I want it to go, and I've decided that I think I want to slide it down rather than up, and so I'll start with kind of that more maroon color of hearts. And once I have it in place, I'll then grab a mechanical pencil and then just trace the top edge of my panel, and then I went ahead and trimmed off that top portion. And as you can see here, it fits now behind there, and I'm going to now glue the two together. So I'm just going to grab some liquid glue, place it on my hearts panel, and then I will place it right on top of our striped panel, being careful not to get everything lined up so I don't have to slide this around too much and get any glue anywhere I don't want it to go. And now that I've got that in place, I'm going to adhere this panel onto an A2 top folding card base made out of 110-pound white cardstock as well. Just going to add some liquid glue to the back side of our panel and then glue it to the card front and hold it just for a second for that glue to set up, and then I'm going to move on to the frame. So I'm just going to flip over the frame, add some liquid glue to the back, and then center it and place it right on the front of our card. And this is just going to go right up against the little stitched border that the hearts panel die cuts onto the white cardstock. And I did get a little adhesive on the front. I just used an adhesive eraser to kind of pick up that little bit of glue. Now I'm going to move on to stamping my sentiment. This is the nesting hearts die. I used a die from that set to cut out a heart out of vellum, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment onto this vellum, and I'm going to heat emboss it as well. I've grabbed a sentiment from the Fresh Rainbows stamp set, and I just centered it on the heart and put down some anti-static powder because again I'm going to do some heat embossing. I'm going to ink it up in VersaMark ink, stamp it, and then I'm going to pour on some silver embossing powder, and then I will heat set with my heat tool. Now that my sentiment is stamped, I'm really ready to kind of put this whole card together. I have a Quickie glue pen here. I'm going to use that to adhere this vellum onto a little white heart that I also die cut out of the nesting hearts die. I'm going to use this pen because it allows me to get a small amount of glue precisely where I want it to go. It's basically like a gel pen with glue, and I just wrote right behind the letters that I heat embossed. So there's a little bit of glue behind those stamped letters, and then I just stuck that vellum heart down onto the white heart. Now I'm going to grab a couple squares of foam tape, place them on the back of the heart, remove the backing, and then I will center this sentiment right onto the front of my card, and that will actually complete this card. I'll now hold this card up to the camera so you can get a good look at this simple but beautiful card. The pattern paper made it so easy and so fun, and I just loved kind of experimenting and playing with just shifting up that hearts panel to kind of get a different look, and I can't wait to play more with the paper and the other full panel dies from Waffle Flower. I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. If you'd like any more information on the products I use, please check out the links below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.